What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a very special tips and tricks video where we are just talking about skincare tips. So in case you didn't know, because I haven't really made it super public, like I just mentioned it in one of my previous videos for the first time, I do facials and makeup stuff. So I'm doing facials every single day, numerous times a day, and I've always been into skincare, or at least for the past few years, but actually working on people and trying to show people the difference and showing people what their skin can be and really targeting people's concerns has gotten me into skincare way more than I ever thought I would be. I will say that my skincare philosophies aren't necessarily popular amongst dermatologists or other estheticians. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people that will try to argue with me, but mine are backed up by my own skin experiences and my own research, and also my other people's skin experiences and seeing how things that I recommend to people work on them as well and seeing improvements. Just to go ahead and point this out, I am licensed, I am a professional, I'm not just a random YouTuber talking about a bunch of mumbo jumbo that they don't know what they're talking about. I am a cosmetologist, but I actually consider myself an esthetician now, which if you're a cosmetologist, you are an esthetician. It's just cosmetology is the umbrella, and esthetician is just something that's under it. I challenge you to try these things and to start incorporating these things into your routine, and let me know updates, and good luck. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do want to start doing this before the end because I don't think people actually stay till the end. But yeah, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell, because if you don't, you might miss an upload, and where my schedule isn't consistent right now, I don't upload the same days each week. I don't want you to miss out on all the good stuff, all the fun. So yeah, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let's go ahead and get started with 10 of my biggest tips and tricks / secrets to skincare. So the first one is one of the most important ones to me, and that is that you always need to moisturize morning and night. And I've talked about this before, but I really want to dive into it now because I feel like it's such a myth for people with oily skin to think that they don't need moisture because they're oily. It's like, oh, why do I need moisture? I'm already producing enough. But riddle me this: oil and moisture, like oil and water, are completely different things. So just because you're producing a lot of oil does not mean your skin is actually hydrated. So a lot of times what I find is that people with oily skin are actually dehydrated. So if your skin is dehydrated, you could either be super dry, or you could also be super oily where your skin is overproducing oil to compensate for what you're not giving it. And that's one of the biggest things I find in people with oily skin. They either don't moisturize at all, or they only moisturize, maybe at night or in the morning before their makeup or something. But for the most part, people with oily skin do not moisturize consistently. So basically, the more moisture you give your skin, and you're gonna be hearing that word a lot in this video, so just go ahead and get used to it, but the more moisture you give your skin, the less oil you're gonna produce, because when you're not moisturizing, you're not hydrating your skin produces more oil to compensate. So I always tell people, and this is pretty much proven by my clients, like, it happened with me, but the proof is in the pudding. So what you're gonna find is after about a week of moisturizing morning and night consistently, your skin's probably gonna be super, super oily. Power through, get past that little training phase, because it's all about regulating your skin and balancing it to where you're not as oily. So my goal with all my clients is to normalize them and regulate them to where they don't really see more of one thing or another. So after about a week, that's not too long. You can get through that. After about a week, your skin will normalize, and you may even find that your skin actually isn't oily. You may find that your skin is more dry, and the oil is just masking it. So basically, oiliness is an imbalance, and we need to feed it and moisturize to balance it out and regulate it. And also, it's just one of the best things we can do for anti-aging. So yeah, moisturize morning and night. So tip number 2 has to do with the order of operation of your skincare products, because this is something that can be very confusing, but basically just remember thin to thick. So you want to apply your thinner consistency products first, and then your thicker ones last. So basically your essences, your serums, concentrates, stuff like that go first because they're thinner and they can absorb faster into the skin, and then moisturizers, eye creams, and then your oils. So for the longest time, I was always confused about where oils come into play, like where they should go in the order, because oils are actually pretty thin in consistency. Like, they're watery, and like if you put an oil next to like a thick moisturizer, the oil is runny. So that's kind of where it gets into the confusing part, because they should actually go last. And something that I heard a while back was that oils can fight through the moisturizers and the serums and all that stuff. Like, they can fight through thinner things, but those water-based products like your moisturizers and serums can't fight through the oil. So it's all about applying things that can be absorbed faster into the skin first, and then your thicker products go last. So tip number 3 is something that is not as widely accepted. It's not very popular amongst dermatologists. I don't think you should cleanse morning and night. I know, hear me out. All the bottles say to cleanse morning and night. All the brands say to cleanse morning and night. Dermatologists say it, estheticians say it. That's what we're taught in cosmetology school. But what I think that does is strip the skin of its essential oils, and that can do one of two things. It can make your skin too dry because you're stripping it, or it can make it too oily because you're stripping it and it needs to produce more oil to compensate. It just kind of depends on your skin's chemistry and your skin type. So my philosophy is that you only need to cleanse one time a day, and I prefer it not after you remove your makeup, just because if you remove your makeup well at night and then cleanse, you don't really need to cleanse in the morning. Like, what do we do in our sleep that makes us need to cleanse in the morning? And some people say, well, there's residue. I'm gonna wash off the residue in the morning. My skin feels sticky or tacky or whatever, but there are other ways to combat that. Our skin needs to kind of work on its own and like function on its own without things like outside foreign substances coming in and throwing it all out of whack. And there was actually a video that I watched a while back from a girl who had a more natural take on like skincare, and like her philosophy was very much like simple. Like I think she said she washed her face maybe every week or every month or something. Like, it was crazy. It was something that would not be popularly accepted. But she was saying that she had dry skin, and when she over cleansed, her skin got even drier and her skin was flaky and stuff. And she was talking about how, you know, cleansers are not a natural occurring thing. Like, it's not something that people used to do back in the day. And to be honest, I only cleanse about every other day, because that's about the time that I think my skin starts needing it. Like, that's when I start feeling oily. I tell literally every single client I have to do this, and when they come back, there's always an improvement. And whether it be that they were super dry in the beginning or they were super oily, they always come back and they said they're more regulated now. So give it a shot. Only cleanse once a day, preferably at night, just because you're washing off the day, the dirt, the debris, the makeup, you know, the air pollution, all that good stuff. Well, not really good stuff, but all that bad stuff. It just makes more sense to me. And also because you're going to be laying on your pillow, and your pillow is very bacteria harboring, so you just want to make sure that your face is washed and clean before you go to sleep. So yeah. Tip number 4 is to always remove your makeup. This isn't really a tip or a secret or anything. It's just something that a lot of people don't do. Like, we make excuses. Oh, I fell asleep. Oh, I'm lazy. Remove your makeup, people. Our skin goes into recovery mode at night, so that's when cell turnover happens. We're regenerating new cells, and our skin needs to breathe, and it's kind of taking in everything that's on our skin at the moment. So that's why it's so important to have a good nighttime regimen. And if you have makeup on it, then it can't properly regenerate, and it can't do what it needs to do to be healthy and to be, you know, pretty and good. It's going to clog your pores, so you're basically going to be breaking out all the time. And also, when it comes to your eye makeup, like your mascara, if you have mascara on, you're clogging your hair follicles. So number one, it can't properly grow, and it's drying out your lashes, so they're just going to fall out with the mascara. Like, you're just going to have little short, dumpy, stumpy looking lashes. Like, everything, it's all about breathing. Like, our skin and our hair and everything needs to breathe. And I know there are some doctors and dermatologists that say there's nothing in our skin that has anything to do with breathing, like our skin doesn't actually breathe. I don't believe that, because if you think about it, why do they tell us to not wear Band-Aids 24/7 until the thing is healed? Because it needs to breathe, it needs air, it needs to do its thing and not be trapped. And plus, wearing makeup at night day after day, it's just gonna block your skin, and it's gonna make you age faster. You're gonna see more fine lines and wrinkles. It's just gonna settle everywhere. It's no bueno. So just remove your makeup. If you have to do it as soon as you get home, which is what I do it, get it off. Tip number 5 is sunscreen, and the importance of wearing SPF every single day. Not just in the summertime when the sun's out and it's obvious, but literally every single day of your life. The winter, the fall, spring, summer, every day. Just go ahead and start doing it, especially if you're younger. Like, if you're in your teens or you're in your 20s, go ahead and start doing it, because you can prevent, but you can't erase. And Botox and facelifts don't count as erasing. The sun accounts for about 80% of skin aging, so wrinkles and fine lines and brown spots. And actually, a common myth that people seem to think is that freckles are something that we're born with and it's just genetic, but there are very few people that are actually born with freckles. Like, there are very few people who have that trait, and most freckles are actually just sun damage from the time that we're kids, because we're out in the sun all the time, we're outside playing and stuff. We don't reapply sunscreen as we should. You know, we forget about it, our parents forget about it, and most premature aging happens before we're 18. Like most sun damage happens before we're actually 18. So you need to go ahead and start wearing it. And it doesn't count if it's in your makeup because we don't apply enough. So if you have a foundation that has like SPF 20 or SPF 15, realistically you're probably getting about SPF 5, if that, because we just don't apply enough. So I always tell people to go for SPF 30 or more. SPF 50 is the best route, I think. And anything over 50 really doesn't give you more protection. That's kind of a myth too. You know, if you see something SPF 70 or 75 or 100, you think, ooh, that's gonna really protect me, but it's really just going to stay on longer and be closer to like a 50. Tip number 6 is to exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week. And I always tell people to kind of set a schedule for yourself. So maybe do it like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Monday and Friday, something like that, and kind of space it out. But you do not need to exfoliate every single day, which is why I do not like exfoliating cleansers, because they promote people to exfoliate every single day, which can be very detrimental to your skin. You're losing that protective barrier that we need when we go out in the sun, or you know, there's air pollution and stuff. We need that layer of skin on the top surface, and whenever you're exfoliating every single day, we lose that. And I think exfoliating cleansers are a gimmick. I think there's something that makes us lazy. It's like, oh, it's a 2-in-1. I don't have to do 2 separate things. But if you want to use exfoliating cleansers on those days that you exfoliate, that's fine. Like if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone on those days, whatever. But don't use those every single day of the week. So if you don't exfoliate and those dead skin cells just keep building up and building up, you're gonna have slower cell turnover rate, which means you're gonna age faster. Like your skin's gonna age faster. And also, if you're not exfoliating or not properly exfoliating, your skincare, like your moisturizers and serums and stuff like that, can actually penetrate and get down to the deeper layers of the skin because it's just sitting on top of a dead layer of skin. So you really need to get that off so that they can actually penetrate. And there are 2 types of exfoliation. There's physical and then there's chemical. Physical just gets the very top layer of the skin, so it's not actually getting deep, but a chemical actually does get deeper into the skin's layers, and you may see more benefits from a chemical. So look for things with glycolic acid, lactic acid, mandelic acid, salicylic acid. All those things are chemical exfoliants, so they actually dig deep into the skin, and they're gonna help things that are more like set in your skin, if that makes sense, like texture and blackheads and stuff like that. And also you want to bear in mind that you don't need to chemically exfoliate on the same days that you physically exfoliate. So if you want to use a scrub, don't use your glycolic acid toner or your salicylic acid mask that same night. So switch them up and kind of stagger them out a little bit. Tip number 7 is very important, and it's something that a lot of people don't do, and that is to double cleanse. Basically removing your makeup before you cleanse your face. A lot of people use their cleansers to remove their makeup, and that's just not efficient, because here's how I look at it. Your cleansers have one job. They're either going to remove your makeup if you have makeup on, or they're going to deep clean. If you have makeup on, that's its only job. That's its main function, to remove that makeup. And if you ever use your cleanser to remove your makeup and you go in with a toner afterwards, typically you're going to find that your toner, like your toner pad, has some makeup residue left over, so the cleanser didn't get it all off. I always recommend like cold creams. Cleansing oils are really good because they're also very nourishing. Cleansing balms, stuff like that. I don't like micellar water. I don't think they're very efficient. I don't think they really leave any kind of nourishment behind like a cleansing oil would. That's like a last resort for me. I mean, it's good for if you just want to remove excess residue or something, or like, you know, clean up your makeup if you have fallout or something. So yeah, always make sure you double cleanse. So tip number 8 has to do with acne prone skin. And a common misconception that people with acne have, I had it in middle school and high school, I had it for a very long time, is that everything in your routine, like every skincare product you use, has to be targeted towards your acne. So you have acne spot treatments, acne cleansers, acne moisturizers, acne toners, literally acne everything. And the problem with this is that acne products are going to dry your skin out because they're targeted towards drying that acne out, drying that pimple out. So if you're using them every single day and literally everything you're using is acne targeted, then your skin's going to get worse. And just, this is how I think about it. These brands like Clean and Clear and Clearasil and all these brands that are targeted towards people with acne, especially teenagers who are desperate to fix their acne, they don't actually want your skin to get better, because then you're not going to buy their products. But most acne products have benzoyl peroxide, they have salicylic acid, tea tree, camphor, etc. And those ingredients dry your skin out. So something that I see with my clients a lot, like especially ones that have acne all over their face, is that they're typically using like sulfur cleansers that are prescribed by their dermatologist. They're using salicylic acid out the ass. I mean, they're doing all these things wrong and their skin never gets better. So what I tell people is to not use acne products every single day. Kind of switch it up and stagger them a little bit. So if you have, you know, a lot of acne, maybe use an acne cleanser, you know, 3 times a week, not use it every single day, or to focus on like spot treatments for whenever you do have acne so you can heal that bump. Tip number 9 is the power of oils. And I feel like there's a lot of people, I know I was for the longest time, are scared of oils because you think clogged pores, you think oiliness and stickiness and all kinds of negative things. But oils can be so good for your skin, especially at night. So if you have dry skin, obviously I do recommend oils because they're gonna help you so much. There are just some moisturizers, even if they're heavy, that just don't cut it. Like they just don't do what needs to be done to combat that dryness. But at nighttime, like when our skin's in recovery mode and that's the most susceptible to taking in products, oils are incredible. I feel like oils are really good at night too because they, like the moisture levels kind of roll over to the next day. So whenever I don't use an oil, I feel like my skin just doesn't feel as plump and juicy and hydrated. But when I do use an oil, even after I rinse off the residue the next morning, I feel like my skin stays hydrated longer throughout that next day. So it's just one of those things that I think everyone needs to do, even if you do have acne prone skin or if you do have oiliness, because again, you're giving it something that it's overproducing, so it's gonna not produce as much. Now, there are some things that will clog your pores and will make you extra oily and that you need to avoid, but that's just a matter of trial and error and figuring out what works best for your skin. Like coconut oil, for instance, is no bueno. Like coconut oil is a no-go for my skin. Every time I use something with coconut oil in it, I break out, it clogs my pores, and it just doesn't do any good for my skin. So that's just something that I've learned along the way. So think like grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, those are 2 that are supposed to be really good for all skin types and not clog your pores. And then I got one from Shea Moisture. I've been using it for about 2 weeks, and it's actually one of the first oils I've incorporated into my routine that I've been impressed with. Like everything else I've tried has broken me out and just not worked. So this is the Shea Moisture 100% premium pumpkin seed oil. I had never heard of pumpkin seed oil before, but I saw it, I was just like, intrigued. This stuff is amazing. I don't know anything about this other than what it says on the description right here. It just says a multitasking stimulating oil rich in antioxidants, vitamin E, vitamin B, and zinc. Essential fatty acids help dry skin and hair retain moisture. So all the oils from Shea Moisture are good for your entire body, head to toe. So your hair, your face, your body, whatever. And that has made a believer in me. Like I've always known how good oils can be, but as far as like finding one that's worked, that's been a game changer. And tip number 10 is actually something that I learned from another esthetician here on YouTube, and it makes so much sense, but it's one of those like secrets that no one ever talks about and that you never hear about. But her channel is called The Golden RX, and this video is called The Professional Skincare Tip That Will Change Your Skincare Routine Forever, hashtag 60-second rule. So basically it's all about cleansing your skin for 60 seconds. Cleansers are one of the only skincare products that we use that don't actually penetrate and don't get deep into the skin. Like they're just not left on long enough to do much. So when we just cleanse for 15 to 20 seconds, which is pretty normal for most people, it's not actually giving the cleanser enough time to do its job. Like it's not actually getting down and deep cleaning. Especially those high dollar cleansers that you're paying a lot of money for that have all these fancy schmancy ingredients in them. You're not even giving them enough time to work. Like you're washing down the drain before they actually can do any good. So when you do start cleansing for 60 seconds, what you're gonna see is that your pores are gonna be cleaner, your skin's gonna feel cleaner, your skin's gonna feel just overall more purified, and it's going to draw out all the impurities. And also just the act of massaging for 60 seconds, it improves the blood circulation, so you're really activating all the glands. You're just kind of getting everything, you're getting everything churning to where it's working more properly, and you're just cleaning off all that makeup and dirt and debris and pollution and all that nasty stuff that we don't want on our skin. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. We're gonna do a little pop quiz, so leave in the comments below what was something that you learned today that you didn't already know or that you didn't already hear, and what are you gonna start trying in your skincare regimen and your routine. Like, what are you gonna change up? And also, when you do change it up in a few weeks, come back and give me a little update, because those are my favorites. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.